Yeah. I mean, it could get rain. Yeah.
I'm just, you know. Yeah, I mean. Unless somebody's already picking that. Okay. These people think that's the stuff that.
And it's stating that.
What she gets.
So I see September 9th. September 9th. And it says for item I. It is about the qualifications ended. And then it says yes, 4, 3, no. So it says 4 to 3. So I can let you know that. And then it's saying that
It's all, it's will be done. You want to make us a document.
so he's saying it didn't have, they were saying, I don't know. They were saying that, I don't think they can, because obviously, the same thing, and share Richard, they were saying it was complete, so it was completed. She passed that. So that is very interesting. I thought and they were saying that.
Ocean condition. like me, I would have tried, I'd have done it.
There's no warranty. What do us work?
All right, let's,
There's no way that I would want to set it up. So I saw what happened was okay, I have your first reading on the 14th day of passing adoption. And that's the one, look at this one, it says Carolina Race versus the translator. And it says, section
I think last time was 2 or 3 in the morning.
I'm not.
Bladder, bladder, bladder.
What do we know is here, what's not here? You know, now it's not getting what it's ever, you know, so.
All right, guys, look like we're about to get started back up again. And sign lady has her sign again. Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, good Lord. the chief just didn't say you could go to jail for that, and it's not one of the things you can go to jail for.
Okay, all right, so we heard that.
I really hope the chief just didn't tell her she could go to jail for this, because she can't. She can get kicked out, but she can't get charged.
All right, we are coming back from break at 9:32 p.m. All right, ma'am, I'm so sorry. You refuse to get rid of the sign? You do? Okay, then you'll have to exit off the premises. Thank you.
Don't forget your phone. Oh, I won't forget my phone. I'm sorry, I will not do it again.
Okay, so now we're going back to where we were. Now, the ordinance that was mentioned, that is not supposed, so, during the break, Chief Cardone looked it up, it's actually on our code of ordinances, exactly, so it's not supposed to be there from my understanding, so I'm not really sure why it's there. Go ahead, Councilman Garza.
Yes, I would like, in this situation, I mean, we're kind of middle, there's only different papers on this, and all these types of different things. In all honesty, I think that we should probably push this. I mean, I don't feel that we're going to, we're gonna be able to get anything that's very distinct out of there, because again, first off, we're dealing with two separate things, I mean, I would like to take notes. So there's that too, but I gotta say, I truly believe in coming here, we should come with one ordinance, so we know overall,
All right, so okay, now look, everybody, you have this copy. Everybody has this copy, I want to make sure I'm saying.
I would like for them to send whatever copy that is their final
This
copy.
came today.
Okay.
This came today, so everybody has this copy, right? Everybody, Dr. Martin? Did you have this copy, right?
I got two copies, I don't want.
Okay, but do you have this copy? Say, look at this, okay. So can everybody review this copy and go through it? And we'll discuss this at the next. You got it?
It's this copy. It's not.
I'll give you the copy here, you got, here's a copy right here.
One, two, three.
This is a copy, I just printed it out.
I want to get rid of these. I want the final copy to be.
And matter of fact, what you can do to save time, if you see anything in there, you can email that, so everybody knows. You can email that to, well, who's gonna be doing, are you still gonna be updating it? Who's gonna be updating it?
It's up to y'all. If I rather just, at this point, remove myself, but I have if y'all have some concerns, either way, even if you individually gave it, you wouldn't be able to change it until y'all discuss it again and agree to it. Otherwise, all y'all will be making different changes for different things and adding it, like, you have to be on the same page.
So what we'll do is we'll bring it back next time, everybody make your list. That's gonna be the last and final time. And then also too, our, Mr. Rodolfo did say that 30.123, that can be taken out. That's fine. All right.
The reason why I say this, I say it last time. We don't need no more lawsuits. This is what's gonna happen.
Well, I recall when that issue when it happened, I thought it was just, we were saying that if they wanted to do it, they need to make a change to the charter, that has to go through a vote. So that's why that was here. Okay. All right, so we'll move on from that. Whew. All right, I think that's like the 10th time it came back. Okay, so we're moving on to I, discussion of possible action on the mayor and council disregard and or violation for the charter and its rules of policy and procedure.
Okay, so this is mine. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. So really what I would like to do is just understand the process. I was reading through the charter, recorded some things that I perceive as violations, and as it's a constitution to our city, I'd like to know how we handle these types of issues. So, did you guys turn out the charter by any chance? No? I'll just go. It's fine, I'll just go
No,
through some stuff, I printed it out, that's the reason why I'm saying. So let me kind of go down the line, I mean, there's been some things that are, kind of gone down here, so.
I got a copy of it if you want basic copies.
No, it's okay, so like, for instance, let's go here to item C, except for purpose of vigorous investigation of 2016, council members shall deal with city officers, employees who are subject to the direction and supervision of the city manager, solely through the city manager, and neither of the council or its members can give orders to such employee, either publicly or privately. This was an issue I was having also, as I stated last week, with Cardona writing an ordinance, and the fact that if it was something that was told to her by Mr. Roberts, once Mr. Roberts left, I don't think we really had a real good reason to continue to write ordinances. Not to mention, I mean, it does violate some of the police policies, which, you know, we'll get into later. But that was one. We have a quorum on 2.10, 4 persons holding council positions shall constitute quorum for the purpose of transaction of business, and no action of the council except provided for 6 shall be valid, binding, unless adopted and affirmative by 4 or more persons of the council. We did make some decisions, for instance, like to request monies to come from our budget into the senior center budget. I mean, as much as our lawyers are telling us that was a violation, I can't see it as anything else. So, I mean, there was a major issue with that. It says here, the council should fix by ordinance the date and time of regular meetings, which we've done in our ordinances. However, we failed to follow that particular one when we had the retreat. So there's that. The city shall have.
What number is that? Because I think there's more to that. It's
Okay.
not just one.
That was administrative service, Article 3. The council shall hold, okay, read it for you. The council shall hold at least regular meetings each month and call meetings as deemed necessary to transact business of the city and its citizens. The council shall fix by ordinance the day and time of regular meeting. Emergency meetings, the council shall be held on call, and the mayor and majority council members upon no less than 2 hours posted to notice, each member subject to requirements and text open meetings act. But the only part I was concerned with was the council shall fix by ordinance the day and time of regular meetings. I mean, we did that again, like once we had that thing, was it on Fort Sam? We violated that. So,
Excuse me, how did we violate that? That we were doing a regular meeting, they would say, it was always called a retreat.
Yeah.
It was always called a get to know each other. And as a matter of fact, we had several people come up and say, you know, that's a good way to get to know each other and everything. I mean, I know that that's a big thing to do in trying to get people to work together. And to me, it was the whole intent of that.
That was already, that's what I'm saying, that was a workshop, and that is, there was nothing, that was stated even during the time, even when we had citizens who were, a certain citizen who was saying something, that was already debunked. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
okay, the only issue that I had with it is we fixed this to our ordinance. In our ordinance, it stated that we have all meetings here. So it is stated that way in our ordinance. And then beyond that too, the votes kicked me out was actually taken, and that vote was basically a legal vote. So once I got kicked out and everybody agreed to it, that part, that automatically made it somewhat of a meeting, because you can't, retreat, that's not, you said it, it's a way for people to get to know each other. So, I got kicked out. That's not how it worked out.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
No.
Well,
It was type of-
on that note, that you're saying that you were kicked out, yeah, you were given an opportunity to be able to discuss, and you weren't trying to do that. As a matter of fact, when you first started, you said, I don't like all this kumbaya. You wouldn't even introduce yourself when you first started. And I know because I was sitting right next to you. And you were sitting there that you weren't going to participate. Then when we were over there, you actually got very upset. And, you were asked to be, to try to calm down. And you didn't want to. ways for us to be able to come together and get to know each other. And I didn't see my participation.
Councilmember Garza?
Just to kind of clarify, it is all on video, of which I was the only one to take video, which again was a violation of something we should have done, as all meetings need to be recorded. So, I mean, what I'm telling you is, yes, you can have your interpretations of it, but you can just watch it. So,
Well, actually, there was, you also, it's not necessarily has to be video recording. There's still cities that actually just have audio, and there was audio recording. To that effect, we did have a resident actually do an open records request for the video footage from the 2 meetings. And there was a form signed by yourself stating that there was no video footage.
yeah, no, I stated that once you put me out, the video would stop being mine. Unfortunately, I had to relay it to a resident, and it became that resident.
We had, like, I'm just saying, just like Councilmember Molina stated, on Friday, he did refuse to participate. You had the body cam right there in front of Dr. Rowland. We had guests in here also, citizens who came. They broke bread with us also. You did not want to participate. And then also, we had the first meeting here at City Hall. The next meeting was off-site. It was already cleared, and it was considered a workshop, a retreat, whatever you want to call it, but it was made public. Everything was made public. So I just want to say that we did run that also by our city attorneys. So, I mean, everybody came even that day, including our city attorneys, had a slot at the event. So I just want to make sure that's clear, that we're not giving not factual information of what happened that day. Go ahead.
Was the video, I'm sorry, was the recording posted?
I don't
So
know.
the-
I don't know. It was a whole debacle that day. I am not sure what happened.
Well, you said that it was being voice recorded. Was that voice recording posted?
I'm not sure. I know that somebody asked for your video and you said you had no video, but you had your camera set up, body cam and the other one. So that's all I know.
Yeah, and I never appreciate doing that, so that's the
Friday,
only
we're
one.
here the whole time.
However, what I will say though is, again, if it's not a posted, meeting, again, we violate this part. So, let's keep going.
All right.
All right, so quorum, like I was stating, that's section 2.0. And basically, like I say, if people are voting for things that we're gonna vote for here at council, be it at any other time, and you're having meetings like that, it is considered a quorum. Especially because it does become city business the moment it comes to us. So, there's that one. On rules of procedure, the council shall by ordinance determine some rules, which is what we would do with this form ordinance. And order business rules shall be provided that citizens of the city shall have reasonable opportunity to be heard at any meeting in regard to any matter under consideration. We haven't violated this one yet because we haven't really approved certain things, but there was some stuff on the last one that was like really trying to prevent people from coming to the meetings, and that was actually something that I was kind of against and pressing on the idea, because we started to define how we would, was it, we talked about it, and we were like, it's common sense, like, it was that, yeah, the safety, right, yeah, public safety, there you go. So we were trying to find a little bit of public safety, but, the thing was, I mean, we even got some stuff, some clarification from the attorney, about that one type of stuff, and I would say it's not in our best interest to be doing anything like that, we should probably halt on trying to prevent it from showing up, or something of that nature, correct? You said that? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, we did get something though. I think we gave it for research. Okay. So anyway, going down, all members, council president, including the mayor, shall vote upon every resolution or ordinance except where there is a conflict of interest. The reason for which shall be stated concisely in the records. And again, this goes back to the idea of conflicts of interest. Me and the attorneys had different ideas of what's the state code read, but I mean, I was not given any insight as to how it was not a conflict of interest, just told that the way that I explained it was wrong. So unfortunately, the way I still see it, it is a corporation. They still have 20% voting share. We are the council, and they have voting share here too. Realistically, you know, us giving money essentially to their, not-for-profit, it essentially, it doesn't seem kosher. So, there's that on that one. Council's, what your concerns? The investigative body, that was one that we really haven't used. I mean, we tried to use it last time, you know, and I was stating that, you know, some things with the police that probably need to be looked into. You know, we had some people voted down or whatever, and it says council shall have the power to inquire into the official conduct of the department, agency, office, officer, or employee of the city. I just want, you know, to give you guys an idea, like, this is the power that is given to us to address items that we have with, you know, people who are working here, or, you know, things of any which nature. We can literally just call out and, you know, have things looked into if we need to. All right, let's keep going. I don't know exactly how this one was kind of written, but it says he, talks about the city attorney, and very plain, it says he or she shall, by be the city attorney counsel for the city and all officers and departments thereof. I'm taking officers, means the rest of us, but the problem I think that I had with this one particularly was that, there have been instances of which we have not been informed of certain, ideas of what are going on. And which we stated last week when, you know, I was reading emails that come from, you know, from the mayor about, you know, turning the senior center to community center. So, realistically, even before we started talking about it, I made an open records request about all that stuff so I could understand what was going on, and all that stuff was redacted. And that was one of the things when I asked about it later. I mean, we had entered into contracts with them, we weren't dealing with any personnel issues. I mean, there was really no reason why any of that stuff should have been there, but it seems as though this has been violated by concerns. Okay. For office, this was, I added this because of what was added to 30.06, when we're trying to pass additional requirements by the ordinance for filing for office. It actually already states in our charter what it takes to file for office. So, you know, and right here in section C, it's intentionally deleted, but it only takes a few things. Shall be a registered voter of the city, shall reside in 12 months preceding the election, in the city limits, including annexed territories, and prior to the filing deadline, and no candidate may file more than one of those. So, there's that. This is a good issue. The rest of it kind of was up to. We have this one here for purchase procedure, section 7.09. Purchase procedure. The council shall by ordinance confer upon the city manager general authority to contract for expenditures for non-budget items involving 10,000 or less. Expenditures involving more than 10,000 must be expressly approved in advance by the council. When we bought the senior center PC units, that was a violation of that one.
Was that not considered emergency purchase?
I didn't really come to any of us as an emergency
Again, was
purchase.
that not considered emergency purchase? That if it's emergency purchase, it would not come to you.
Good God, it needs to come to
But I'm
us.
saying if it's an emergency purchase,
No.
again, it does not necessarily come to you.
Special meeting, emergency meeting,
Yeah,
it comes to us.
No, it doesn't. So let me tell you about when the water wells went down, and back in 2022. That, we did not have a meeting about that. You know what they did? They went and fixed it. Can you imagine if we had waited and told our citizens, you know what? We're gonna wait on the water, you just out of water, whatever.
That one
And
had
then
emergency,
that was considered emergency purchase. That was way over $10,000.
So I feel like the way it would
So
work
I just
out
wanna make
is-
sure everybody's aware of that.
Understood. And the thing is, the water well next to the rain, I mean, it affects everybody. You know, you turn on the water, you don't have it. I mean, obviously, there's an issue with the city. But the senior center particularly, I'm not saying that they should be in there cooking. What I am saying is, we could have said, we could have said, you know, that unfortunately, the ACs aren't working, so we could have an emergency meeting for this. We can, you know, get these things covered. So, I mean, that seemed like something that we could have actually had a meeting for. I mean, not that we would have voted for it, but it just, you know, again, I feel like we bypassed the charter too. Okay, circling back, let's see, I had a couple other things. Okay.
Wait,
Oh,
are you gonna
Do you guys want to
Yeah,
take a
I'm
nap?
almost done. It's,
I want to take
I
a
just got
nap.
a comment to make.
Okay.
Problem matter is, we have a charter, we have ordinances. We're gonna follow those, should follow those to the T. Then we have an attorney come in here and say, well, and we've had it for a long time, but it didn't come yesterday. Since the city was paid, we've had a charter. And an attorney comes in, well, it depends on how you perceive it, it's written in black and white. Ain't no perceiving it. But that's the attorney slang or term that they always use, was how you perceive it. It's in court.
Well, if you take it somewhere, that's how it works. It's always up to interpretation. I mean, that's how it is.
It's
No, I'm
black and
saying
white.
that's with anything. That's with anything is up in interpretation. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, you don't really get an answer.
Everything's a lie.
It's how you perceive it.
I mean, that's the
There should
truth.
be,
There's also
they're
be
supposed to be here for advice, right?
to protect the innocent, correct?
That's right. And it don't happen, that's why we ask for our,
Yeah, basically what I was just trying to do in this scenario was just, I mean, just try to say, okay, listen, these are the things, how do we fix? That's all. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's some things, I mean, we're not gonna fall back and think, we're not doing anything like that. It's just saying like, hey, these are the times when the charter's violated. Like now, you know, from here on out, how do we handle that? So, back to section 2.05, it talks about the mayor and the mayor pro tem. It says, mayor shall be the official head of the city government, he or she shall be the chairman and shall preside over meetings of the council. Mayor shall vote on every proposition for the council, which shall have no power to veto. He or she shall see that all ordinance, bylaws, resolutions of the council are faithfully obeyed and enforced. And he or she, when authorized by council, shall sign all official documents such as ordinances, resolutions, conveyances, grants, agreements, official plats, contracts, and bonds. He or she shall appoint special committees and take advisement by council. And it says, he or she shall perform such other duties consistent with the charter as may be imposed by him or her by council. So, this one came into question with the secondary contract that we had with our owner city manager. So there was.
Well, that came into question, and also I provided everybody the email that I gave to the city attorney.
Yeah.
So, y'all
Again,
see it in
that's-
black and,
I'm
I'm
not-
just saying,
I'm not-
you see it in black and white.
I'm not
So,
blaming you for
but
it.
that's what you're
Okay.
bringing up to
No,
make it like I did something nefarious,
No,
and I did not.
what I'm bringing up is you're absolutely right. You did bring us the,
Email, so you
Email.
saw it.
but I mean, like, my point being is, again, if that is the scenario, then, you know, if, again, our city attorney is giving us some advice that, you know.
Thank you for adding that.
Yeah, sorry,
Thank you.
sorry.
Yes, thank you.
I was gonna get to something. I think, city charter, let's put ordinances. Oh, no, here we are. There's that one. Okay, commissions. This one was kind of questionable. I'm not gonna say that we violated this, but, the city council shall have authority established by ordinance such boards and commissions as they deem necessary to conduct city business and manage of municipal affairs. The authority, functions, and responsibilities of such boards and commissions shall be spelled out in the ordinance establishing them. And all existing boards and commissions hereto established shall be continued in accordance with the ordinance acts under which they have been created, or until the city council shall abolish, modify, or anything. So, that one basically, like I said, it was kind of questionable when, with the whole thing about this even, so we'll take everybody off and put on. I don't necessarily know if it was something that was violated. Obviously, our attorneys gave us a, no, it's not, but, you know, there were certain things that were even in the bylaws that didn't necessarily run exactly right. Going down the line, we have the personal financial interests, the conflicts of interest. I think this is for, I think it's for the next one. Anyway, it says, personal financial interests, senior center bond, board members voting to have senior center budget. As I was stating in the last meeting or whatever, the conflicts of interest, as it goes through title, what was it, title 12, I think? That, you know, having a 20% voting share, you know, as we, I'm sorry, it's chapter 171. It says it right here, so conflicts of interest of officers of the city shall be regulated in accordance with applicable state laws in chapter 171 of the local government code. That's where it found. So yeah, it's right here actually under the personal financial interests in the charter. And basically what I was trying to say on that end was if you read through chapter 171 of the local government code, it defines what a corporation is, which is clearly defined by the senior center, and it defines what a council, you know, or what what do you call this, what a council is, I guess. They just define, you know, how it becomes a conflict of interest. You know, these were a lot of the little things that I was kind of coming across every day. And I think that's about it. So my question now is, how do we fix that? How do we fix any of that, or all of it? I mean, what's supposed to happen if a violation of the charter occurs, and we have reasons to believe it's occurred? Like, it doesn't necessarily give too much on the idea there, what we could do other than, you know, have an investigation. But even at that, if the majority of council are acting within that area, wouldn't necessarily call for an investigation. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, I mean, I guess this is going to the city attorney. What do we do in those situations?
Well, I guess this is your agenda item, so what action do you want to take? Present it to the council?
Well, I would like to understand what we're supposed to do in those situations. I want to know, I mean, I couldn't find anything particularly that states that we, you know, that we do anything other than investigate. That's really the only powers that I foresaw in the whole thing. So I'm kind of just wondering, like, do we have to add something to that in case, you know, these types of occurrences happen, or what's supposed to happen? I just don't know what's supposed to happen, and that's what I'm asking.
Well, the city charter ordinances should have a provision concerning I guess a concern by a council member on the, I guess, violation of the charter. But then there's a difference between a violation of the charter and a difference of opinion about how it's interpreted. So with regard to, if you think there's a charter violation, you want to do things. What's the reporting mechanism that the city has, or do you want to go from the ordinance, the charter, and take that to vote?
So, yeah.
So in other words, it would be the charter. And that's the answer I'm looking for. It needs a charter amendment in order to have some type of a, you know, something to happen if that ever is the scenario, so be it. And then, how will we make that determination too? You know, so like some of these violations, their perception, right, we're saying that, I mean, would we go through, what's it called, like mediation, or how do we determine?
You would have, so
I don't
honestly,
see-
what's gonna happen, it's gonna come, that's how you bringing it up right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna put it on the agenda, we're gonna talk about it, and then somebody's gonna decide, the majority's gonna decide how they wanna move forward. That's what's gonna happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to jail. I know everybody's
Yeah.
trying to put people in jail.
No, I'm not saying-
Nobody's going to jail. It's not happening. And also too, it reminds me of malicious intent. It depends on the intent also of certain situations. You know, for example, like, it's like, since we always talk about the contract or whatever was going on with that, and we have citizens still speaking about the same employee. For example, it's intent. That that
The
person
chief is gonna
maliciously
go to
said,
jail. Definitely, the chief's going
let
to
me get
jail.
this mileage on me. Like, you know, like, I mean, nobody's doing that. You know, so it's also on the intent of that, you know, for example. So, like you said, nobody's going to jail. Honestly, for example, the blue folder that was created on that other individual has been shown to the previous ICM. It has been brought to this ICM. Nothing is happening with the blue folder, okay? Like, nobody's going to jail. It's not happening. Texas Rangers they're not even gonna look it up. I'll just be quite honest with you. They're not gonna look at it. Matter of fact, the previous ICM actually did, send it to, he did allow one of
I
his.
have to counsel you on the outside.
But they're talking about the charter violation. That was in the folder.
That is correct, but it's with regard to the rules of policy and procedure and concerning the violations.
I think she's defining that though, right?
Yeah, I'm defining what happened. That's why this is being brought up. about the constant charter violations. I'm saying that it was brought before.
Within that context, that was.
Is that okay? Okay, yes. So it was brought before, an attorney, outside sources looked at it. And from my understanding, that individual did even tell Councilmember Martin, no, nothing's gonna happen with this. It's, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But again, if you have any concerns, you put it on the agenda like you normally do, and then we can discuss it up here and in the public if you see something that you feel that is unjust.
Okay, yeah, and I just think that in the future, obviously, the charter revision, maybe we can have maybe something that goes around.
I brought up the charter review board several times, not just with this council, the last, and nobody wants to do it.
It's
So.
gonna happen.
Well, that's gotta be saying for 6 years.
Yeah, but nobody, I brought it up, and we didn't have one, I don't know what the people was.
Yeah.
But somebody, we brought it up, and nobody wants to do it, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, so, yes, since we're discussing the ordinances and so on, one of the things on here as far as having, material ready for us or anything that you want to present, when you're going to do, an agenda item, I think it would be very helpful if that information that Councilmember President just shared with us, if it was shared before the meeting with the bullets that we're going to be discussed, this way, when we're here, we can already know what we're gonna, be discussing. And because of the essence of time, we want to move things along, that would be very helpful. And this is just an example of how that would help us. And then the other thing is, my question was gonna be, what was it that we wanted to accomplish with this, agenda item? Did we actually want to do take an action on?
Well, we accomplished it.
Okay.
Yeah, we accomplished it. We basically said that the way that these things happen, because I was looking for policy and procedure, what do we do when this happens? And they told us. So,
Okay, all right. And then, the other thing was that the chapter 171, I believe the last time it was brought up, by Councilmember Garza, our city attorney had said that it's subject to interpretation, or that was his interpretation. But I don't recall, Mr. Reeves giving us what exactly is city attorney's interpretation.
I think that was the incorrect interpretation, but the comparing of the city council shares of a corporation is not a public entity comparison. That is not the law. The courts don't look at that way. It's an argument, and it's not the interpretation that the courts would take. And with regard to the use of conflict of interest, it means something entirely different. The legal meaning is different than what has been phrased as a conflict of interest.
just add that to the agenda. That's a good, no, I'm just saying this idea of this interpretation. Because again, I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry. Okay, all I'm saying is with the way, what he's saying about voting interest towards the city council, it doesn't define voting interest in the city council, it goes to the voting interest of the corporation. And that's the thing, it's like, what you need to understand is the senior center is its own corporation. I mean, if you read through the documents and you know that it is, and if that's the case, then we need to really define that interpretation. Because I think Ms. Lozano was absolutely right, that, you told us that it's not properly applied, but you haven't told us how.
So could we get something?
That's what I'm saying.
They can do a legal opinion and put it in writing. We can do that.
We could provide a legal opinion
Thank
if that's what the council wants. I have to ask Councilman Garza to clarify this question. That way we can research properly.
Clarify your question, please.
I'll try. Okay, that was it.
Okay. All right, so, but I'm saying, do you want to clarify your question now so he can
No,
give a
I-
legal opinion?
I mean, I'll prefer to add it to the agenda so that we can have our
Okay.
case.
All right,
Then, yeah, then, until that time, it's, you know,
okay.
research will be all over the place, and it will cost more than attorney wants and some of
Okay. Anything else in here? Anybody else would like to discuss? All right. Oh, you know what, I do have something. Since we were talking about, you know, like charter ordinance and stuff or whatever. The agenda. This is the third time I have had nothing to do with the agenda. I don't get to oversee it. I need to explain this last time, in last council meeting. Before, on when, or even the week of, the staff, really the city secretary, would inform me, hey, if there's anything that you want to put on the agenda, or the agenda, you know, it's coming up for the deadline for that week. There has been nothing. I don't see what's on here. I get the draft just like y'all get the draft. This time I didn't even get the draft until after the fact. I don't see anything. I don't go over anything. I'm supposed to be meeting once, like, during the week to go over this with the city manager, and that has not been happening. I've stated it over and over again, and I still get the same response. City manager, form of government, and that's it. That's what I get, so.
My understanding, but I think, I'm sorry, go ahead. My understanding is the problem is we'll get it back related to attorneys. Am I
I'm
correct?
supposed to go, I am supposed to go over, we're supposed to
Right,
work
that's
together.
right, that's right.
We're
That's right,
supposed to
right.
go working together.
You're
Right,
exactly
that's not
right,
happening.
Mr. Martin. We need a legal review draft before I can share something with the council. So I need the attorney to have a chance to scrutinize the wording, or we have a clean draft. Because what's gonna happen if we produce a draft, whenever it's expected, and the city attorney makes some changes, then we're looking at a totally different document. So we need to put, this is the way it always works. You have to have this take a look at it. That's the form.
But the draft, I am supposed to be working the agenda
All the council
with you.
provided, it was intended to go out Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it didn't go to council, so it was sent out on Thursday morning, and I found out it didn't go to council. The draft. And then it was subject to changes, and then we still had additions coming in on Friday, which had to be reviewed by the city attorney, and that's what was down being the agenda. The agenda items can come in at any time. You don't have to wait for a draft, you can send it at any time.
No, I'm talking about, I am supposed to be going over the agenda with you. We're supposed to be creating the agenda together.
You're all the time.
No, it doesn't work, okay. Of course you're here all the time, and every time I tell you that I'm supposed to be going over this with you, that's what's supposed to be happening. I made it last council meeting statement, I've already said it over and over again, and I get the same information. I'm not in the twilight zone up here, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, even just how it was done before, Miss Caitlin, and before that, Miss Patty would send me, say, hey, on Wednesday, you know, before, hey, by the way, you got anything to put on there, or like, you know, hey, you know, and then we would actually, with the city manager, you go over the stuff. Because that's why also too, like priorities and stuff, because sometimes there's things that do come up. But I have not been able to do that, that's what I am saying. But I keep hearing council, 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 and I understand that, but initially I am supposed to, sorry, I'm not going first.
So I was gonna suggest or ask, do we need to change the deadline dates? So you'll be able to get with the mayor and go over the proposed agenda?
Well, again, it's been a dynamic document every time I've been here, like I said, the mayor sent in her items on Friday morning, and so I spent Friday afternoon, some length talking to the city attorney, how to best capture the wording, which is the wording correct. So again, we need to have the agenda item run by the city attorney, so we have a clean draft about the council.
Well, it just seems like you're gonna have to come up with a better timescale to get this done, because
And the thing is, sometimes, then like I said, they come in as late as Friday, we can keep track of
on there because that was a time-sensitive issue. So that had to be on there because I knew, and obviously we know why that had to be on there. I don't think that yeah, I hear something.
She's a rumor matter.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Councilmember Garza.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking Councilman Alvarado said, we did move back the time slot, right, to Friday. I mean, I'm trying to think of a way that maybe we could possibly say, okay, look, these are the agenda items or whatever that we're trying to put on these, on this thing by Wednesday. If you have anything you can add it until Friday, you could come in, or you get it on Wednesday, right? Everybody's trying to agenda items. And then that Thursday, Friday, until you get it, so we can send it to the attorney, because we did move it back now. So I mean, is that really what you're requesting, is that you get the agenda items, in that time period, so that you could, go through and add, is that what you're, because I'm trying to define your request.
No, it's not even a request, it's in the order. I mean, it's in there. It actually states that I am supposed to be working in conjunction with the agenda and go over it. Matter of fact, Ms. Caitlin, before our current ICM got here, would you not notify me, we would talk about the agenda, and then I would go over the agenda with, the city manager?
There were times, yes.
Yes, and then before the agenda goes out, for the last final, the city manager, we would go over it again, just to make sure to review it. That's how it's been done. I'm not the only mayor that has been done like that. It's in the ordinance. That's how it happens. That's why, for example, there's some things on here that's not on here. For instance, I got a call today from the Education Recycling Committee, asking me some questions. That's what I'm saying. The stuff that I added to, the wording is not. That's what I put. I mean, that's not what I'm saying, so it's not like the attorney changed the wording, it's the same stuff.
Can we run an ordinance limiting capacity, I don't know, the number of items that are gonna go on the agenda? Say keep it 10, keep it 8.
Well, what we're supposed to be doing, and that's why I'm saying, y'all can't have it both ways. So what we're supposed to be doing is, that's why it says the mayor and the city manager go over it, and they go over what's the priorities first. So that's what I'm saying. Before, we said we were gonna, nobody wants to do that. So that's why, we're not gonna do that. I mean, unless you want to do that now. Go ahead, Councilmember Brown.
Yes, and what I'm hearing you say that, and this has been the way we've done it, or it's been done before, is that the mayor and the city manager would go through the agenda items, and it is on our ordinance under 30.04 on the agenda. It's the letter A, 30.04A. It says an item may be placed on the agenda by the mayor or city manager. The city manager, working in conjunction with the mayor, will exercise his or her best judgment in determining what other items of city business should come before the council. So, again, it's been my understanding that that's the way it's always been done, where the mayor and city manager come together, discuss those agenda items, and then it goes off to city attorneys to, get legal insight or whatnot. So I don't know if that's something that needs to be discussed amongst the city manager and the mayor, or we have to review that again, but it is in our ordinance.
Go ahead, Councilmember Dorr.
I just would like to know the city attorney's interpretation of that. What do you think?
Usually, with other cities, there's a hard deadline on the agendas. Usually the council meetings are on Monday or Tuesday. In those situations, the agenda is posted by Friday. But what you have is a hard deadline, and then that gives the city manager and the mayor the opportunity to go through the agenda items that have been submitted, get the wording, and then submit it to the city attorney to make sure that the notice provisions are good, or questions, well, should we have this for executive session or keep it open session? But there's a hard deadline with regard to the agenda items, and if you miss that deadline, you just put it on the next day. And with regard to, the council member put something on the agenda, then all supporting documentation is supposed to be, done by the time the council packets get out. So that way, there's, the council will have all the information available, but usually it's a hard deadline.
And that's what, and that's, if y'all heard the point of, when you're supposed to be going over the agenda together, and crafting it together, and that has not been happening. This is the third agenda item that has not happened. Now, I don't know if the city manager directed Caitlin not to contact me. From my understanding, I know the staff, from my understanding, staff has been told not to let me know anything or contact me. So I don't know if that's why I haven't been, attached to anything, you know, or whatever. Well, I haven't, the past 3-4 weeks, I don't know anything.
I mean, that's not good either, for the city.
Yeah.
You're being advised of that.
So that's what I'm saying. So I don't go over anything. Y'all have already stated it. Even in other cities. Matter of fact, the only reason why I know this is because besides the ordinance, back when we had our former ICM, there was things that were going on the agenda. Y'all saw some of the like just jumbled or whatever. And I was like, one thing the city attorneys told me, they were like, hey, you were supposed to be going over this with the city manager. Like, what is going on? And that's what I'm saying. It's not happening. That's all I'm saying. And I acknowledge it. This is the third time. So obviously from the statement, it's not going to change. So go ahead, Councilman Garza.
So this is what I'm trying to get. Are you looking for all the council to submit their stuff by Wednesday, right? Because everything has to be submitted by Friday. Right? We'll change that.
But by Monday, actually, for y'all,
Yeah.
two meetings on Thursdays. So,
And then, you know, and then give you the agenda or you know, send out the agenda or the thing, agenda items to determine it. And then what's the idea here? It's like, so at that point, you're gonna go start looking stuff off the agenda or?
We look at the agenda. So she sends a draft. She'll send a draft and she'll say, this is what I have so far on the agenda.
So you're just looking for a draft agenda?
Well, that's what it is. We go over the agenda. What's a draft? And then that's why it's like, well, what is this about? Like, because sometimes there's information that's needed, you know why or whatever. Or hey, like this is coming up, put this on there. I mean, this is not.
Well, because we all received the draft agenda. It came in when, like, Saturday? I don't know, it came in Thursday.
I don't know if you're still listening, but for the bond hearing, a lot of Jack's restrictions were lifted because he was put on an ankle monitor because of his appeal bond. So Jack's free right now. And there'll be more hearings soon to get everything killed.
Everybody's like,
All the charges
why does it
dropped.
say this or why does it say that, you know, or whatever. That's why when they talk about all this back and forth, it's not me calling him back and forth saying anything. That must be a plethora of other people coming back and saying, answering like, you know, asking 5,000 questions. That's why the draft, that's why it doesn't happen like that. You get the pack, like when you get the packet, you get the packet, you know.
Yeah, I know, and in the past, getting the packet on a Monday, trying to be done, or trying to be ready by a Thursday is very heavy and hard to do.
But you still don't have all the information.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, it's not like we still have all supporting documentation anyway.
No, you're right, and
So-
that's why I'm saying, even for draft documentation or whatever, I think it would be helpful, you know, even if Tuesday games decide, okay, we're gonna move this route. We know that these things are they're gonna come up on more of we can, and when you find the draft, it's just like, okay, let's not go to stupid. Like you're just saying, you didn't draft so that you could sit there and say, okay, these types of things are really.
You know, I just want to say this, and then we can move on. I get it both ways. You want me involved, but you don't want me involved. Like, you know, when there's something, I'm just saying, when there's something that happens, and then somebody asks me a question, like when I got a call about something today, and I can say, honestly, I don't know, because he does not talk to me, so I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. You want me involved, but you don't want me involved. There's things just today, when we talk about the charter and all this, that's what we're talking about. There's things that I know that I see that is wrong. Now, you don't want me to tell somebody, if I think somebody's misappropriating funds and you want me to submit my list, hey, I'm sorry, but I took an oath and I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna voice my opinion, I'm gonna say it. So again, this is what's going on. I let y'all know this is the third time. Obviously, he still does not understand that. And so then we're gonna move on. Anybody have anything else? No? Okay. Moving on to J, discussion and possible action to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Starlight Fireworks in the amount of $12,000 for fireworks at Friendship Park on July 4th, 2024. Yes.
Usually HDA gives us, right, like 10,000 each year, but just to be absolutely sure, like, it tends to come pretty late, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I'm like, yeah, so we usually, like, just to be sure, like, I think it's how we did last year, we said yes to this, and then, you know, we say, okay, and then when it comes up, HDA gives us some money, and at that point, we're like, okay, and we really ran, you know, $2,000, then we get money from the parking, all the other stuff, right?
Right, so it's gonna be, last year the fireworks, it went up, I think it was like 12,000.
Yeah, it's
But,
5,000.
yeah, so, but yeah, so that's normally what happens. And normally, to be honest, like last time, we didn't vote on this because it is a budget, or this, Fourth of
Yeah, it's a
July is a
budget.
budgeted item.
That's right.
So we don't vote on
But
this.
it went up, right? I mean, it's not budgeted items, it's not. So in order to do this, we would have to vote on, right, the extra. Because we would have to make a budget adjustment.
It's a budgeted item, though. The Fourth of July fireworks is a budgeted item.
Okay, so what we would do is instead make a motion to adjust the budget to make sure it's $12,000? Is that what we're trying to do?
No.
No, yeah, they wanted a down payment for $6,000.
Let me explain.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, this is a misunderstanding. I did get an invoice for $6,000 as a deposit, but when I looked at the entire invoice, it was $12,000. So regardless of whether it's budgeted or not, it still requires council approval because I have to enter into an agreement. I am not authorized to enter into an agreement above $10,000. That's why it's on council. And I know the mayor mentioned what was coming from HB grant. That's irrelevant. Where the source of funding is coming from is irrelevant.
I said it's a budgeted item. I didn't say that in part.
Whether it's coming from an HB grant or through the budget, because it requires me to enter into an agreement, $12,000 is the trigger that requires council approval. That's what I saw on the invoice. Now, I'll say this, because I've been told before, well, it's only been $6,000, and then you come back with the other $6,000, that's ridiculous, you can't do it.
Yeah, I understand, because you're entering into a contract. Okay,
Right.
that's fine. You just make a motion?
Go ahead.
The date is wrong. It says July 4th.
Yeah, it was supposed to be for July 4th, but not on. It's on June.
June 29th.
Well, on the thing, it says June 29th. On the Starlight fireworks, on the
Oh, yeah.
paperwork. Yeah, they had it June 29th, 2024.
Yeah, but I think she's right, to what she said.
So maybe I should make a motion with the, change date, yeah?
Well, look, we don't even know if the date might change. You might just want to say the fireworks celebration.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
just, we don't know the date might even change.
Actually, that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Starlight Fireworks in the amount of $12,000 for fireworks at Friendship Park for the celebration.
Okay, we have authorized the city manager to enter into agreement with Starlight Fireworks. What else?
Just celebration, I just said
Oh,
celebration.
fireworks celebration, in the amount of $12,000 for fireworks at Friendship Park. First by Councilmember Garza, second by Mayor Pro Tem Amador. Please call roll.
Councilmember Hitt,
Yes.
Councilmember Molina,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Garza,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Papadakis. Yes. Mayor Kirby.
Yes. Okay, moving on, discussion of possible action to replace the council chamber audio equipment. As we know, that's been going on forever and ever and ever. So, we finally have quotes, go ahead.
So yes, we have been having some issues with the audio equipment, and I don't know if it's because, you know, it's a step up, if it's wired under here, I'm assuming that's what it is, because these always seem to work. The ones that we really have issues with are all what do they call, lapel mics or the wireless ones? Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you know, we're talking about, you know, replacing pretty much everything on, you know, so a lot of these, because they're pretty high. I mean, would it be possible just to, you know, replace maybe like the head and those specific mics? Or just to make sure that they're better than what we have? Because the ones we have, it seems as though the batteries turn, or they automatically turn off. There's other like instances where that's the scenario.
Sir, we have had 3 estimates for a while. This preceded me coming on board, so I don't know when this issue was first put on the table. But anyway, we have had 3 estimates, and they do range from, I think, 18,000 to 52,000. We communicated that to the council. Here goes the sentiment, just to kind of get y'all a heads up of something that was coming up. We just haven't had the time to do the due diligence to offer council recommendation. So back to your question, what we understand, you know, the layperson, is that we can't just upgrade the equipment because common frequency is no longer available, so we have to change out the whole system. So again, the estimates range from 18 to 52,000. That concerns me because we, you know, we're not sure we're about to go over the but that's the question I've been asking. Can we just take that from the mic and we told it it's the wrong frequency? The whole system needs to change down.
Because, wasn't it also too, when this was being dealt with, it was talking about the wiring, because they would have to go up, through, and out. And by the way, these were replaced, right, Ms. Caitlin?
They were, for sure.
Yeah, I think these have been
One of them
replaced.
was because
Yeah.
it was pulled up.
Okay, yeah, so this has been going on for a while now. I know that another city, mentioned to me about, they said, I think it's called the PEG funds, something out of court. They said that whatever, they were asking, like, find out how much money is in the pot that you know from like the court fees or something like that. And they said that actually can be used, since we use this for court, the chambers, it can be used to redo your entire, chamber also. So I don't know, I've asked that question, so I don't know what's in there. That might be something, but again, no matter what, it has to be done and completed because
Yeah.
the city managers need, they need a spot. Everybody, you know, everybody needs a dedicated spot, to sit.
I can tell you that I looked at it at another place, yes, the municipal court fines can be used, given that incidentally they used this as a court. So for that reason, the answer, I understand, as an attorney, yes, it can be used. The issue is we just don't have that much money right now. That's what the issue is. But
Yeah, but we're gonna, right, I mean, the expectation of hope, right, is that we're gonna hire, or at least,
just don't have the money.
yeah, understood. But I mean, can we like make it a thing where like once we get that money, we make a determination to say, hey, it was $40,000 in court fines, you know, let's do this. Is that possible, just bring it back and how would that work? Because I mean,
That's council's fault, yeah.
I would have, we need to look at how much was in the previous years, because it's not as if, from my understanding, yeah, my understanding, if you recall at the retreat, Dr. Rowland said, look at the court look at the years that the money had been going down for the court. Yeah, like the money wasn't, we weren't making a lot of money in court as we were the previous year. No, but whatever, like they were coming in, so that's, yeah. So that was stated, so I don't know, like I said, what we're using it for or not. Because I just, until that even came up, I don't even remember us discussing what actually we used the fee, you know.
Yeah.
Until that mayor had actually mentioned it, that they had did their whole chamber, I didn't know what she was talking about, I was surprised, so. I mean, it was a good tip, I didn't know.
that was how he's gonna have into the general.
Yeah, so what do we want to do now? I'm just gonna let y'all know, again, y'all know the citizens. So y'all just want to hold off until we get some,
Can we make a motion to do it once we get the court fine? Like, when we say that this is gonna happen? Because again, like, we know that we're behind on, tell me again, it was the warrants or something?
Yes.
We're behind, so we know once we start issuing all that stuff, money's gonna come in at that point, right? So, you know, hopefully, How far
Well,
down are we like?
since December, we haven't issued warrants, but we haven't issued warrants since December, and it's still gonna be a little while longer until we get somebody on board.
Yeah, but you said we were behind how many, like 300 or, you said we were behind so many, and that's why you wanted to hire somebody to help with that?
Somebody is coming
Yeah.
temporary on the board.
But how far back did you say we were?
December.
But there wasn't like an amount, it wasn't like we're behind 300 or whatever.
Now, it will need to come, it will need to come back to council specifically because we don't have an identified quote.
So can we vote on the idea that we want to do this, or is it?
Just
it has to
give
come
us
out?
a policy direction on what you want us to look at, because that's fun.
So can we get a copy of the quotes that you have? You have them now.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
And then also, so if we decide to do this, to wait and see how much we have in the fund, and wait till we collect more, money that way, shouldn't we do something, just, temporary, like a karaoke machine or something? Just to,
I got you.
just to-
Actually, like a church podium,
Yeah.
they make it where the speakers are already built in, you charge them on, and then just put them on. I mean, it's what I do when I go to, you know, the things that I have, I don't like, it's how it runs. So I mean, something like that, absolutely, I think that would be a great idea. It won't come out on the system, but you'll hear it on YouTube.
it'll be loud
Yeah,
enough to be.
that's what's good.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because they make the podiums, I've seen them, where they just have something like this, and the churches use them all the time, just take it up like that, pull in there, put it in. And just in case, or if it's not working for that day, you know, it might be useful. And those things, I think are only like $300 or $500, and I don't think they're that expensive.
What is?
It's a, yeah, it's a podium, it's like, it looks, see, they sell a podium like that with a speaker already in it, you charge it, and then it's like ready to go. And then, they have just the regular, like, you set it on a desk, and it like goes up here, and it has, you know, just a thing for you. So, yeah, I've seen them, they're made by Anchor, I believe. I can look into it, or at least I just need information on it.
Okay, so what do we want to do?
I mean, I'd love to replace it all if we had the money to do it, but I mean, I think it'd be best to find the money, as your state, because, you know, no telling what else we can use that money for, you know what I mean? Obviously, we can't put it in the general fund or use it for streets or anything, so I think your idea is the best idea, and I think maybe something, do something temporary. So we make a motion for that? Or do we have a consensus?
I think we have, since everybody's consensus, do something temporary, just a temporary fix, that podium that you're talking about, with the speaker. Everybody's doing that temporary fix. It definitely should be under $1,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay.
Let me look into it, I'll
Okay.
find out. I'll find out for sure, I mean, I can't say yes
Yeah.
exactly, but I was pretty sure there was something we can do.
Okay.
So, Mr. Garza is right, we could do something like that, but as far as adding to our current equipment, I don't know if you remember, we had tried that route, we got microphones, Ken Roberts had stated we had a whole karaoke bar, but it does not, it's not compatible with our system because our stuff is so big.
Yeah, that's what you're saying about this.
So there's no Band-Aid approach, is what you didn't hear it.
Right, but it's right now, what he's saying is it'll be loud enough so they can at least hear it on YouTube,
Yeah,
from the speaker. That's what he's saying.
exactly, the idea of the Band-Aid approach is actually just to basically give you guys very specifics, like it's gonna have a thing and the speaker built in. So when you talk, it's gonna come out of the speaker. So that's mostly what it's.
And that actually is not bad, because for example, when there's events and stuff,
Yeah.
if it's a mobile podium, you take a mobile podium somewhere and use it.
That's right.
So is that gonna provide just one?
I think, they make, like I said, they make the desktop ones, and they have, like I say, the churches kind of have, they have a table or an altar, you stick it like that, and that's the thing. And then they have one that's like built in like that, and that's a podium. And, from what I know, I'm pretty sure it looks like, just like mine is, you know, it just has a battery on the inside, plug it in, it charges, and you basically have it anywhere.
Because we would need, 4 mics besides up here. So-
But, yeah.
Well, because
These are working right now.
Okay.
They're talking about a temporary fix for like that.
Right, and like you say, here, and two.
Yeah, I would say one. But, I can look at 3 and works, so we can just figure out.
Okay,
And we'll see what the cost is. And you're right, we could use them in that, we use them in a couple other things, that'd be great for us too. You know, if we have like the pool barn or whatever,
Right.
microphone, just to talk.
okay, so everybody's good with that?
Yes.
Alrighty, okay, moving on to L, discussion and action on open records request policy and procedure. I put this on here because, for example, I asked for, in 3 separate occasions, for some information for open records requests. Also, in my official capacity, I find that, and there are some things, policies in here that I was confused about. I was wondering about the example about staff going into our emails, as I found out, retrieving documents and information, requesting it from our IT department. In the history of the city of Kirby, that has never been the way that open records request has been handled. So when I found that out, I was wondering, why did that happen? Then I was told, well, that was something the previous, or they weren't trained, or the previous city manager possibly had put that implemented in. Now I know, the only thing I know that Dr. Rowland had changed was he added the voluntary search form, because he said there needs to be more records. And as you recall at the council retreat then, it was stated that we have a big problem with our open records requests about, not getting stuff out on time, and then, not keeping proper documents. So anyway, and then once I went back and emailed to do some investigating, I noticed the email that had been sent out August 8th, asking for information. So I was confused of why after that email, all of a sudden it stopped, and the staff was just going into the IT department to retrieve our emails. That didn't make sense to me. I asked this question to our current ICM, to ask that staff member, and I have not still got a clear cut why that happened, or who told that staff member that was how it's supposed to be done. I know for a fact that, as y'all know, that Chief Cardona had said a rebuttal to it, and she basically said the same thing. As courtesy, we go to the council and ask them. So if she said that in there, I'm like, who else would have said it? I mean, I'm just confused. And another thing I am kind of confused about, this email that was put in here, this email should not be in here, number one. I don't know why that was put in here as my supporting documentation. That's another thing. But again, I asked for simple records of when was the open records request made on me. So that's basically like whoever did it. So if you put an open records request on me, I just ask when was it and what was the date. When was it completed? The date, and then I ask by who. Now granted, if you can't find out who actually did the work, which I'm not saying, we're not a big stat, whatever, that's okay. But I'm just curious of why I can't even get, there has to be a folder, so you can't tell me that Councilmember Garza comes up here and says, I want it, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I know you asked for a lot of stuff, so you asked for all this stuff, and you just he gonna come up here, and in his, let's say it's not his official capacity, it's unofficial capacity. You're gonna say, you're just gonna give that person that stuff, and you're not gonna have it signed for it or anything like that, and you're just, so where's the folder of the records that people picked up? I mean, not the records, but the form. There has to be something you have to sign. Now, granted, I know there's people, I've heard Councilman Martin say he paid almost $400 for some stuff one time.
Yeah.
So is there no record of it anywhere? Like, there has to be. Did you sign and pick it up? When you picked it up, did you have to sign something? So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I can't even get the information of, there, and this is basically trying to tell me, like, there's no documentation. There cannot be. And that's what I have a problem with, and that's what I'm asking. Like, that's why I put this on here, because I'm told that there's no information to be provided.
I signed for that dated, the amount,
So where are those records? So who do you get the records from?
we have been a previous employee who I paid, she's no longer here.
And that's the only person, have y'all got records from anybody else?
I haven't even, like I was telling you, I had a presumption that I was actually asking for something. When I looked at my emails, I couldn't, I couldn't find anything, which I asked for, and I was like, man, I could have swore I asked for emails between you and certain things. Because once, our fire chief, he was sending me stuff, and I was getting an idea of what was going on, and then after that, I was like, well, I need to know what's still going on. So I was pretty sure I asked for that, but when I looked in my stuff, I didn't see it. So I mean, and then again, now I'm starting to second guess myself if I ever did, but it sounds like something I would do. So
Right, and that's what I'm saying, I'm not trying to be maybe like, I'm a hot commodity with open records requests from everybody. Everybody wants to know what I'm saying to somebody and everything, as y'all seen recently. So you're telling me there is no records if somebody, matter of
I'm sure there was records.
That's what I'm
I know there's
saying.
records.
Where are
What
they?
happened to them, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So where are the records in the office for open records requests? I mean,
I can't answer that, she's gone.
she's not the only one,
No,
the
she's
city's,
the-
the interim secretary does that also. That's what I'm saying. I'm not in the twilight zone. I know that there's records. I mean, request form, there is. So after the stuff is done, where is the paperwork?
What?
Do you know where the paperwork
I
is?
don't have a form, I haven't seen the form, the form that you mentioned, I haven't seen it, I didn't know what you're talking about.
So, Ms. Caitlin, do you know where the paperwork is? Is there a folder?
Every open records request is in that office. I did let you know that we could have a meeting, because it's in a disarray, I'm gonna be honest. There's been too many hands in the pot. So you're welcome to have a meeting, sit down and go through it.
All I need is my name on the thing, and the stuff just scanned to me, my name, and that the stuff was completed.
You'll have to look at it to understand what I'm talking about.
Okay, well then how, is it stacked like this? It's even more?
It's a box.
It's a box of open records requests from last year till now, it's like a box.
It's everything, prior to me getting here, the whole year 2023. And then after I was no longer in this position, it's everything in 24. And then I recently came back to this position.
Okay, can I just say something real quick before you say this? Can I just say that there has to be a folder for, let's say, a folder file system, or at least you would put on a folder. I'm just making a suggestion, I'm not giving anybody direction, I'm just saying this makes, I don't know, clear sense. Okay, yeah, okay, well, thank you, I didn't want to say it. But, you get a folder on the open recs request box, you would put, let's
Are
say,
you not
April
entertained?
2024. It shouldn't just be thrown in a whole box. Like, I just don't understand that. Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Garza.
My question is have we received anything from the Attorney General based on any of these open records requests? Like, if we've gotten letters that they've, because I mean, I gotta tell you, we're out of compliance. My assumption would be we started to get stuff from the Attorney General.
So our law firm, that who would communicate with.
Okay.
I haven't seen any.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, didn't they just start sending basically all those requests to the law firm? Isn't that how it kind of was running for a while?
It was running like that for a while, but that stopped, especially even under, our former ICM, that stopped.
Okay.
And it wasn't, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know.
If it comes to us, we have a paralegal that specializes in open records requests. Once it's received by the city, if this city attorney's office is going to handle it, then we need to know right away. It's 10 business days for the response. And then we look at what's been requested. We can ask why, but the request may be very general. And we call the requester and say, hey, can you pare it down and see what's, or send them clarification. And then if there's no exception to what is being requested, then it's, they cooperate with, communicate with the city secretary and get the documents
I am
together.
literally all
And
in
what
here
the
now.
firm does is
It
we
is me and the council members and the employees and the police. There are no other citizens.
The documents are sent to us.
I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me.
The documents we produce, so it shows that we produce these documents, date stamp, whatever. And we have a record of that. And so if there's a question or we need a Attorney General's opinion, then the firm does that within the time allowed. And we send a request to the Attorney General with the documents of the question, and we get a response. So that the firm does it for other cities, and it's a routine thing for us.
So all of the mayor's questions we've asked internally, the questions as to how they were handled, and we were going to the internet service provider, not sure anything on the feed one. The suggestion from the interim city secretary is because we're really getting process. Because I've been on board, I said, people, we don't, and you may want to clarify the discussion that we had on Friday as to whether or not we had the authority to do that. We haven't gone in, since I've been on board, I told staff, we don't go into anybody's email account, we can elaborate on as to whether the authority the city manager has in that regard. I haven't said anything to the AG here, none of those I do. Most of the requests we handle internally, but if it has some legal aspect to it, then we send it to the city attorney, and then they can determine if it goes to the AG or not. And they will let us know it's going to the AG, we'll let the people know if the attorney has it, then it's going to the attorney general. But for the most part, I think most of them we handle, like there was one having to do with police department salaries, so that's something internally that we can handle, and there's no need to get current discipline.
Henry's back. I'm not all alone.
So that's what we discuss among ourselves, is explaining the law, and that I understand that we can go into email accounts.
That's right.
But I've not asked people to do that.
And it's public record. You get email accounts to your city email, that's public records. That is, those are records that are subject to the Open Records Act. That's what, as a matter of course, the city manager will tell the council member, oh, we got an open records request with regard to your email. Now, that is to inform, it's not a requesting permission, because those are, you have to do so, but as with all other documents, they're subject to the exceptions. So what we do is we look at the emails to see, well, this is all litigation, is it involved? Sometimes you send a family member something in your business email. So when emails are generally requested, if it's one, we usually get back to the requester and say, okay, what subject are you want, what, talking about certain aspects, and I want everything. So, well, that's too broad, then we want clarification. So, but, yes, they are.
So I would add, nobody is disputing that it's not public record. We all understand that this stuff is public record. What we are saying, and I'm sorry, I wouldn't say it's a collective, because I don't think anybody up here is thinking that I'm wrong. If you are, say so. But the history of the city of Kirby, you would ask us, that they would send us saying, hey, please provide this document, these information, because sometimes they even want text off your phone and stuff. Please provide this, and then you would provide that information. It stopped. All of a sudden, out of clear blue, it just stopped. And all of a sudden, it started going to the IT. And the question was, who told the staff? Because when I called, they said, they named names of who was requesting that. I asked them, they had your email down, they had her, there was an actually request of a list of everybody's emails. You don't even know what people's looking up on you or anything. I'm just saying, I'm being honest. So it's just like, where did that policy, how did that change? And why were we informed or anything? But then the question that really got me was, when I asked, I had to ask 3 different times, but then also 2, there's still no clear-cut answer. We don't have that many staff here. This is not like we have 1,000 employees. that staff member to do that? That's what my question was. Chief Cardona responded, and she said in her email, y'all saw the response or whatever. So she's saying she didn't tell nobody to do that. Who did that? That was my question. I'm not saying no to public records, of course, but I'm saying, how did that process all of a sudden change? And now it looks like, obviously, from all the open records requests we've been getting lately, I know y'all seen it because our ICM is sharing all open records requests everybody's been asking. We also need to go ahead and, I mean, I'm curious because the fee, because one of the open records requests y'all saw with all that information, that's gonna take like 6 months for somebody to gather up. That has to be over $1,000. Do we go ahead and, do we give like, they pay a deposit first? Or how does that work? Because,
Yeah, that's right. You pay like half up front or whatever.
okay, because I mean, the stuff, that one email about me, like, that's, I mean, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, basically what they do in situations like that, because I've done these open records like that, what they'll do is they'll take your request, they'll say, hey, it's gonna run about $700 or whatever, and then they want you to pay half up front, and then they want you to pay the additional to come get it, and then it's all paper. And then again, too, at that time, you want to change your request and say, well, that one, all the papers, put on a thumb drive, and they charge you $12 or whatever for the thumb drive, or sometimes they'll tell you no, which that happened to me a few times, and I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense.
But we charge a research fee and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Because I'm just
they
saying,
charge
there has to be,
Yeah, even with the
there's
thousand.
looking for thousands
No,
of pages.
1,000
I
pages
mean,
is only what, like $10,
The
$5?
Attorney General has guidelines on what could be charged and what the reasonable charge is. So you look at those, and there's even a person at the Attorney General's office who's in charge of what gets charged, because I've talked to them quite a few times. So, and if it's not reasonable, they can complain against the AG that the city's not charging a reasonable charges. So that has to be determined, okay? How much we get charged per hour, and that is something that you have to look at. Now, with regard to the, let's give, you look at thousands of pages, then that's where the clarification is, well, you know, it's going to cost a lot of money, so is there something you're looking for? Can you narrow down the months? Is it, you know, but if they, you know, want a certain amount of documents, and they will have to pay to.
And usually, requests in situations like that too, you literally, like, it's asking for like a document between you and Martin, and you just type in Martin, you push select all, and you just send that into, whoever's the secretary, like, it's the hard part is when it's getting telephone type of stuff, or whatever.
Because you have to take photos. I mean,
Yeah,
that
you
was
have to take photos.
The last, I had to take photos of stuff. But that's what I'm just saying, it's so much. But I'm just saying, making sure that, because it did come up when I was looking at that, because the email was basically saying, everything, like anybody, I mean, it doesn't matter if spam contacts me, like, and they wanted everything. And I was thinking, that's gonna be like $2,000 worth of paperwork. I mean, it would have to be for research, it would have to, because, Councilmember Lozano?
Yes, so, Madam Mayor, I guess I would want to know, it's like you're seeking an answer as to who gave the authorization to stop. But if you were to get that answer, let's say somebody said, oh, it was Dr. Rowland or Mr. Roberts or Chief Cardona, if you were to get your answer, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you then going to set a policy and procedure for the open records request? Because from what I understood from Caitlin is that it's all in boxes, it's in disarray, so I'm trying to get it all back in order so that we can, have it all on file, or?
Well, number one, it should already be back in order. I mean, I would assume that you're not still throwing stuff in a box. I mean, I think that's inappropriate for, the office. I wouldn't do that. What I would, like when I'm asking about the request is because I requested things 3 different times. He requested stuff. Other people's requesting stuff. There's no answers about anything. That's my question. Again, we do talk about, it says in the email that it's been talked about before. Yes, it's been talked about before, and we still haven't got a handle on it. I mean, and I'm sorry, I do not feel, I want to know, and I don't understand why there can't be anybody directly to say to somebody. I do not understand why this happens in the city. Why nobody will go to somebody directly and say, who told you this? And get the name and have it done. Like this whole back and forth of like, let's have a meeting and like, you know, all that, it doesn't make sense to me.
The city appoints a open records administrator. That person is in charge of receiving all open records requests. And that person contacts the department or contacts the city attorney for any assistance. And that person can go to IT and get the parameters and search the emails. Generally, if you have the city attorney look at that, then we determine what the parameters are, and through the open records administrator, we go through IT and get those records. But we look at them before anything is produced. That's the way we handle it.
Basically, I'm with Lizanne on this one. I think what we ought to do is we ought to come up like, or at least be presented a policy. Like, you know, so what's the open records policy? Well, it goes to the city secretary, she files and she starts, you know, sending emails out there. So, I mean, I think that's going to be the most productive thing to do. So maybe perhaps we ask that one be created so we can know exactly what we need to do with open records.
And generally, the city secretary is the open records administrator.
Correct.
And so, and they're in charge of, and usually it depends on the city. Some cities don't even need us to go through it because they have it down pat. What they need to look for, things are within the exceptions. They know what the exceptions are. So that's something that, and then they go have the city attorney. We handle other cities. We handle all their open records requests. Our paralegals determine what needs to be obtained from the city. They go through the open records administrator and obtain those records, and we look at them and make the determination that it needs to be redacted, or there's no exceptions. Turn them over, make staff documents, identify them, and then turn them over. We keep that record for the city. But yeah, you don't want to let a deadline go, and it's good because all open records requests go to one person. Because sometimes if it goes to the police chief, then the police chief should give it to the open records administrator so they can know when they get it and we can calculate the time for response. Same with sometimes they go directly to the fire chief. And then you have to determine, okay, how do you accept the request? Is it form? Do you accept by email? So there's different ways that you set up a policy on how you accept those requests.
Okay, so can we just maybe make a motion to just have a policy created so that we can review it? Does that sound like something?
Yes, there should be already a policy. That's my point. Where is the policy?
Well,
There is a policy.
This is like an ordinance?
No, there is a policy. The stuff has been done the same way for years and years and years. And I'm sorry, no offense, but I get what you're saying. Yes, you can go on our records. I get that and everything. But staff members, we don't know what they've been pulling. I'm just saying, we don't know. Now, we know that this past year has been crazy than last year. We don't know what was pulling what.
Can we just request that policy?
Yes, can we actually, I would have liked to see the policy, and I'm actually curious of, when you saw this agenda item, what was your understanding on what we were gonna go over?
Probably just what the policy would be, and how they generally respond to open records requests. And first of all, you need an open records administrator, and that's where it starts. And they can request through IT emails. Now, out of courtesy, we tell the council or the mayor that, hey, you got open records requests, it's asking for these emails. And again, it's notification, it's not permission, because we have to produce some documents. But then the city has to have some type of system where, okay, if we're going to do it internally, I have to figure out, okay, is this request really a lot of documents, so should we seek clarification? And maybe some of these documents contain, personnel matters that make it any financial stuff that is excluded. So, sometimes when I used to deal with records, and the attorney would ask, I would call and say, listen, you need financials or, and they go, no, I don't want any of that stuff, okay, so let's limit it. And then, it's more manageable that way, but there has to be a system that has, and then there's open record administrative training that they go through. And, it's fairly involved because that's an important issue.
Okay, so yes, can we get the policy that's, in place right now, and then,
Okay, then let's create.
let's repeat.
Hey, I make a motion to create a policy for open records and procedure, so we take, have a reading start there.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to create a policy for open records request policy and procedures. First by Councilmember Garza, second by Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca. Please call roll.
Councilmember Lozano?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Molina,
Yes.
Councilmember Dick?
Yes.
Councilmember Garza?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca?
Yes.
Mayor Carter?
Yes. And passes. Moving on, discussion to M.
So, Mayor, we are hitting 11 o'clock. Are we going to keep going, or are we going to postpone some of these items for our next meeting?
Some of these, man, I feel like they just need to be, what's it called? They just need to be like, pushed through like this one before for sure. Especially with the open cases, I mean, some of the stuff too we just received today. I don't know if there's much discussion on a lot of these last ones, except maybe the end.
So, M and N look like they may be a little lengthy, but the others,
Yeah, like I said, we just received stuff, so I mean, actually, discussion of it anyway, right?
Okay, so those, M, wait, where we at? M, N, O, P. And then you wanna just go ahead and do the closed session
Well,
one?
I think you should do O for sure, right, because we need to make sure that one goes, right?
Oh, so you want, okay,
And then this other one, there shouldn't really be any opera, really, I think, if that's what something we want to do, so we did. I don't even think we should. So we would just, table, right, and
just M and N.
okay. Mayor, make a motion that we table, single time, right? Mayor, make a motion that we table M, discussion and possible action of staff revisions and adjustments.
Second. Okay, we have a motion to table, item M on staff overpayments and adjustments, first by Councilmember Garza, second by Councilmember Lozano. Please call roll.
Councilmember Molina,
Yes.
Excuse me, did someone second that?
Ms. Lozano?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Lozano.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Councilmember Dick,
Yes.
Councilmember Garza,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca,
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
Okay, Mayor, make a motion that we table, N, discussion and update on pending legal cases and investigations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to table letter N on updated pending legal cases and investigations, first by Councilmember Garza, second by Councilmember Lozano. Please call roll.
Councilmember Dick,
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Molina,
Yes.
Councilmember Garza,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca,
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes, okay, that passes. Okay, so moving on to O, discussion of possible action regarding pool opening day event 25 May and back to school party, or event, 10 August. The reason why I put that on there, because we need to know, and then also crime control was gonna do, was thinking about, handing out the backpacks to give them the reflector stuff. So basically, they need to know in time to purchase, purchase and put on the agenda. And then also, if we were gonna have the opening day of the pool party, 25th, they actually wanted to come out and like support too, but I didn't know if we were really gonna have it or not, so do it or not, we didn't know, so we have flyers made and people can decide what they want to do.
Well, I think it's a good idea, is there a consensus?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay,
Okay.
and, Mayor, I make a motion that we have a pool opening day event in May, I'm sorry, 25th of May, and back to school pool party event on the 10th of August.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to have a pool opening day event, 25th of May, back to school party, event, 10th August. First by Councilmember Gardner, second by Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca. Please call roll.
Councilmember Martin?
Absent, limits of that.
Councilmember Molina?
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano?
Yes.
Councilmember Garza?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitz?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca?
Yes.
Mayor Gray?
Yes. Okay, it passes. Moving on to B, discussion of possible action regarding bi-weekly sewer and three council member information session with the city manager. The reason why I put this on here because another council member also suggested that, previously before, there was meetings and we were doing them actually once a month. And then I think before somebody was even doing like once a week. But anyways, this is how it was done before. And then also that helps where obviously, so there's not a quorum, it's 3 at a time. And they go and they can say whatever the city manager updates them on stuff, and then they say whatever they want to say to the city manager. And I think that if we did it bi-weekly, it'd be offsetting of the council meeting, like that. But I think that would be a good idea. This was done in the past, and also that was actually was done monthly, but I was actually thinking maybe bi-weekly might be better. And again, people didn't show up all the time. Some people didn't even show up, but then some people actually did show up. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to get that information at that one-on-one time, and I understand that the city manager says, I'm available all the time, I get that, but also we have a lot of frequent flyers who come up to the city all the time. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say I'm swamped. We know we had 2 council members come up here earlier this week, and they were showed away. So I'm saying, whatever happens, if we have these 2 dates at least on the calendar, they can have some type of meeting.
Yeah, and this wouldn't affect, if you needed to meet with the city manager, just, this would be a good opportunity to break.
No, I mean, I'm not saying why would it affect you. I'm just saying
Oh,
there's
no,
people
I-
that call him every single day, and they come up here. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
But
They come
my
up here
problem
every
is
single
sometimes,
day.
I'm not available myself, so, and the thing was when we were doing this before, I really didn't show up, I think I should have won, because, I was out of town, or,
Some people didn't show up honestly because they were in the meeting room. I mean, that's what happened. People didn't want to sit with people, so,
I don't really think for that too.
yeah.
We really need to make a motion for it, or?
I mean, we don't really have to make a motion. I said I had made a suggestion. Yes, I think a consensus is fine, unless y'all want to make a motion. So we set in stone for our city manager.
Again, I think consensus is that, we hate to be like, this is the only way to meet, you know what I mean?
Nobody's saying that. That's the only way to meet. That is not what's being implied here whatsoever. We had this stuff before. You were on council at that time. We had it before, so it's not saying that.
I know, I was just saying that I only got to show up for one of those, because again, I was always absent.
And Mayor, with regard to this issue, I would suggest 2 and not 3, because 3 is just one short of the one. And so 2 would be,
Okay.
You just think out, or 3,
Okay.
okay, you want me to make a motion?
I think that's best, so we can actually maybe put something on the calendar for sure.
Okay, Mayor, make a motion that, we try and have a that we have I'm sorry, because it's pretty long. But we have bi-weekly, 2 council member information sessions, with the city manager.
Second.
Okay, a motion on the table, to have 2 council member bi-weekly information sessions with the city manager. First by Councilmember Garza, second by Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca. Please call roll.
Councilmember Molina?
Yes.
Councilmember Lozano?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitz?
Yes.
Councilmember Garza?
Yes.
Councilmember Martin?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Apodaca?
Yes.
Mayor Gray?
Yes. Okay, it passes. Moving on to closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 personnel matters and 551.071 confidential within 60 days in accordance with the city charter. Okay, closed session, regular session closes at 11:12 p.m.
Alright. Y'all have fun. Going into executive session. So that's pretty much the end of the meeting as far as we're concerned. So, Chief, I just wanted to ask you, why have you refused to send any documentation on Jack Miller to the district attorney's office? You kind of seem to be hiding it. You haven't sent any documentation to the DA's office on Jack Miller.
I can't speak on the cases.
Oh, well, no, it's not on the case. You haven't sent the affidavits, the police report, the warrant returns, nothing to the DA's office. Is there a reason why?
All due respect, I'm not speaking about the case.
Huh. Would it be because the DA's already said they're going to instantly dismiss the charges as soon as they see them, if anything Jack's lawyers have told them is true?
I'm not speaking about the case.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not speaking about the case. Thank you for the questions. You
Yeah.
already did.
Would you worried about the FBI raiding you? So I know the Texas Rangers will probably just let you turn yourself in when you're getting indicted, but when the FBI indicts you, they're probably going to raid you. Any worries about that? Huh? Okay. Let's go. For those that stuck around to the end, that's what you get.
I have never seen her move that fast. Only you, Matt. All right. It sucks Amanda left.
Yeah. I know, but all right, guys. So we're going to end the live here. Y'all have a nice night. I'm gonna go put the highlights in a different video. Use my body cam, static record some of the public speaking. So that's why I kept the live pointed at the council to see their reactions, and use static cam and their own city live stream for the speakers. So if we need to, we'll go mash all that back up together to give a better view of my glorious self and my public comments, and smash that together with what just happened. That'll be worth a decent video, probably. You guys have a great night.